Hey everybody, what's happening? I'm Tommy and you're on the lifeboat. Jason P, good to see you. Kirsten, what's happening? Shannon Smith, glad you're here. Indigo Twin. Lisa Trimble, good to see you. Lisa, Millie the Dandelion. Blessed to Crochet, what's happening, Mary? Hey, Rich. Rich Turner, hi from the UK. Love it. Across the pond. Kiki Cookerson, what's up? Bill Hera. Diana Smith, glad that you're here. Glad you're here. This dookie is completely out of control. Boy, oh boy. Somebody called it. Jane Aldrich, what's happening? Yeah, this really is out of control. Paula Penley, so glad you're here. Really am. Anna, it's midnight. I hope you fall asleep to my voice. I really do. I know how you struggle with that. Kathy, good to see you, Kathy. All right, let's see this thing. Let's fire this rascal up. What do you think? The Jenna, good to see you. So let me tell you what's been going on in the Diddy Verse. So everybody's kind of sitting on the edge of their seat and waiting for this attorney from Houston to drop the next batch of holy heck, right? The gag order is not going to happen the way that they wanted it to, so we're going to still see all kinds of stuff getting leaked out. Nesquik Milk, good to see you. Tractor. It is Monday. There's no getting around it. You caught it live, Saguaro Cactus. So happy. And from Massachusetts, good to see you. Russ, what's up, Russ? Great show last night, Russ. The Arabian Bard. Wine a little bit more. Hello. I'll never get it right, so we'll start up there. Hello, how are you? Glad that you're here. Blast from the past. Listening while working. I love it. Getting paid to listen to the Diddy Verse. All right, so a bunch of interviews happen in this, right? A bunch of interviews are happening. A B minor, because there's money in this, right? There's money in this. It really is one of those situations. Taylor Miller, how are you? Where anything you put up that has Diddy's name on it is probably going to get some legs, right? Probably going to get some legs. So a bunch of people are interviewing a bunch of people, and sometimes it's difficult. Hey, Ann Perkins, Flick Fox, good to see you. Laura, and KK's here. Good to see you, KK. Every once in a while, something will come out, and the language barrier, and I've heard people say it in the chat on my channel and over on Sean Atwood's channel as well. Sometimes you get some cats on there, and their style of speech, their speech patterns, the words that they use, the slang that they use, and expressions and whatnot get really difficult to keep up with. And it's sometimes you got to go back and you got to watch these things 9 times. But one of the things that you really got to guard yourself from, let me rephrase that. One of the things that I really need to guard myself against doing is thinking that people who speak differently than we do, right, may speak the same language, but speak very differently than us. You start judging people by things like vocabulary. I mean, in terms of whether or not you're going to listen or whether or not they're intelligent. And I have heard some people recently that when you finally break it down and you listen to what's being said and you listen to the thought processes that some of these people are putting into this, there are some interviews out there that might take you a couple of times going through it to get all of it. Nevertheless, you should probably, Freddie P's interview is pretty amazing, right? I would look that up. If you put that into your search bar, it's going to pop up really quickly because it's getting a lot of views. He was the hair underneath my nose. It's driving me crazy. I might shave this thing today, people. I'm not kidding. This is driving me nuts. If I don't shave it, I'm at least going to whack it down to where it's a whole lot closer to my face. But it's killing me. Nat B, good to see you. And he said some really interesting things. Number one, he said that he really believes that the Kim Porter book is true. And who is this guy, you're asking? Diddy helped put this guy in a band, right? This was one of those shows that he was doing. And this guy's been a very outspoken this is not a fan. This guy does not like Diddy. And I would imagine a lot of people don't for financial reasons, right? A lot of people dislike this cat because of what he did financially. So there are people out there that are taking shots at the guy now. And I don't know. You kind of got to wonder if the things that they're saying are legit. If you watch Freddie P's interview, it's absolutely astounding the kind of angle that this dude takes at it, right? One of the things he says is he kind of like to slap the taste out of his mouth, right? He kind of like to punch him in the face. And he said, I can't reach out. I got no control over this. He said, I kind of like to see him get beat up a little bit. He said, I don't want to see him get shot. He doesn't want to see Diddy go away for a life sentence on this, right? And this is something that I think you're going to start hearing more people say. As I'm researching this, I'm finding a trend among certain individuals to kind of chalk this up to this is what all rich people do, right? This is what all people in the entertainment business do. And I'll tell you something. It's not the real thing. It's not the real thing. It really isn't. Do I think there will be grifters attaching themselves to the Diddy case? You mean other than me? Or writing books that aren't factual just for clout? I think we're going to see some books come out, but I don't think anyone wants to be the first one to write it, right? Because how are you going to write a book like that? I think what you're going to see is people like just journalists that weren't there who are going to go and interview people and get anonymous sources and do all of those things. Because I don't think you're going to find a lot of actors or actresses or people in the music industry, or God forbid, royalty, right? Or politicians that are going to want to go, yeah, I got a story for you. So I was at this Diddy party. Those words are going to stop being uttered, right? Those words are going to stop being uttered. And one of the takes of all of the people that really seem to know this circle of individuals is that the reason, people are like, well, this person doesn't come forward for 10 years. It's kind of hard to believe. Or this person doesn't come forward for 15 years. That's a narrative we hear all the time. If a John Doe or a Jane Doe comes forward with allegations from 15 to 20 years ago. And, people, this is a hard thing for somebody to come out and say, let me tell you that one of the most intimate and horrific things that happened to me, right? Because they're the same thing. and let me have people doubt it and tell me I'm a liar and call me bad names, right? It's not something that most people want to go down that road on. However, in this case, I think that one of the reasons that people have been so damn quiet is they're terrified of this guy. Bacon Bits, good to see you. And that's something that people are, hey, April, that's something that people are saying all over the place, right? The bully's gone. The bully's not on the playground anymore. And Freddie says in the interview, if you're in a room and there's a guy in the room who's just kind of overbearing, it doesn't even have to be somebody that you think is going to slap the crap out of you, but somebody that's just overbearing and kind of, that person walks out of the room and there's just everything changes. You get this feeling of, oh, thank God. Well, this dude's evil, right? According to everybody that's been anywhere near this guy and is opening up about it, they say that this guy was terrifying, right? Diddy's the real deal. He's evil. This is a guy that, according to most people, allegedly, this guy he didn't have a problem with taking care of his enemies any way that he saw fit. The number of people I've been trying to chase down a final list of all of the people that who are in the Diddy sphere of influence who are no longer with us, and I don't mean people who died, of cancer or died at 80 or whatever. I'm talking about people where you go, oh damn, that's an unusual death, or how many pneumonia at what age? I'm not saying pneumonia doesn't take people off the planet, because it does, right? It does all the time. But we live in a world where you figure if you got pretty good healthcare or access to really good healthcare, right? You ought to be able to get in there and maybe get treated. And you would think that Diddy's baby's mama should probably be able to get some pretty decent healthcare. Unless, of course, he doesn't want you to. Donna Kebab, what's happening? Greetings all, newbie lurker here in UK. Having a pajama day, week, month. Nice. Well, you know something? Put your feet up. Nice. Well, we're glad to have you here. And you know something? You deserve it. You deserve it. Put your feet up. So I think this is a situation. Where the dick is off the playground, right? The person that everybody thought would have them rubbed out, taken off the globe. And it sounds fantastic and stupid and all that, right? But as you start hearing stories, this is a guy who will punch a woman in the face right? In front of 5 or 6 other full-size dudes. The fact that those full-size dudes don't grab that dude by the hair, right, and beat the you-know-what out of him says a lot about who he is. When you keep hearing these stories of women that allege that they've seen Diddy put hands on either of the women that he spent the most amount of time with, right? And that would be Miss Porter and Miss Ventura. And people say that he was forever beating these women, right? In front of a lot of people, and a lot of people who have big names in other industries, right? Or names that shouldn't be associated with any such crap. As I've been chasing this stuff upline, it is the most incestuous and weird little world out there that they live in the entertainment business. I mean, freaking bizarre, right? So, Sir Lucien Grange, who heads up Universal Music, this is these individuals at the top of this were sponsoring Diddy parties, right? These people were putting the money up for these parties that allegedly all of this bad stuff started at, right? These parties allegedly as part of a criminal enterprise that's designed to bring people in, right? And to film them in the act of doing what? Coitus, right? In the act of having sex. Get them at a time when you really do not want to be filmed, right? You follow me? Now, his mentors, the people he hung out with, right? The people that were in his sort of circle of friends. Russell Simmons, right? You guys know who Russell Simmons is. He's the guy that runs Def Everything, right? DEF Everything. So Def Comedy Jam, Def Jam Records. There was a lot that he did, and he's they say he's worth 400 and some odd million. He is alleged in the community to be a billionaire. He is no longer on U.S. soil. Who knows? Maybe he has just gotten sick of being in the good old U.S. of A. Or maybe there are a whole bunch of women who have accused this man of doing things, and now that they can sue him, through New York, he's afraid that some of those lawsuits are going to do to him what they did to Diddy. That's my opinion. That's why he's not currently residing inside the good old U.S. of A. However, this guy did a video a long time ago, and it's hard to find. It's really hard to find online. But he did a comedy sketch video, Harriet Tubman, right? The abolitionist, Harriet Tubman. And in this video, don't yell at me, he made it. In this video, the slave owner is basically essaying her, but she's sort of bringing it on because she's going to film it and then blackmail him into working with her on the Underground Railroad. Nobody found it funny at all. Nobody, right? Spike Lee spoke out. A bunch of other people spoke out. Here's the thing, though. How do you not know that no one's going to find that funny? I personally think it wasn't meant to be funny. I think it was either a nudge, nudge, wink, wink, or if it was just his way of threatening somebody or whatever. But this is what everybody in this industry seems to do, right? For real. Clyde Davis mentored Diddy, right? Nobody argues that, by the way. I don't even have to say allegedly. He was a mentor to Diddy in a big way. Now, allegedly, they had a relationship for a long time. He was a boy toy, allegedly, of Clyde Davis. Now, Clyde is doing like the old gangsters used to do when they'd walk into court in a robe and babble to themselves, right? Playing the old "I'm crazy" card. Sorry, don't write to me. They call it the crazy card. But he's going in there and pretending that he's not sure who Diddy is. Like the last time they yelled out the name of him, hey, these questions get tossed to these people now like they're presidents, right? They gotta run from their car into the restaurant like they're trying to get on Air Force One because you got paparazzi just screaming questions at you about Diddy. And like Freddie P said in his interview, man, you put me in a story with Diddy, I'm coming after you, right? He said, none of these people that were solid, none of these people that were gangsters want to be linked in any way to the diddler at this point. And I think it's a situation. We're going to find out. We're absolutely going to find out. But I think this is a situation where the arrogance of this man, he didn't think there was a chance they were coming through that door. He didn't think there was a chance they were coming through that door. He may have thought that they were going to get, he was going to go to court, right? But I think because of the hubris, because of his arrogance, because of the fact that he may or may not have a relationship with the FBI at one point, probably got a handler, maybe a couple of people that he could call. Maybe he figured he was safe. And you know what? If he called somebody from the FBI and said, hey, man, is the FBI going to raid my house? You would tell me, right? No, the FBI ain't going to raid your house. Honest, swear to you. FBI ain't going to go anywhere near your house, man. If it was going to happen, I'd have heard about it. Now, Homeland Security, they may take a tank up your driveway, right? They might. Question, any truth to Diddy having a celebrity roommate right now? A guy from the cryptocurrency world. Well, he is, they're allegedly in the same unit, Sam Bankman-Fried. They are not in the same cell. He is alone in his cell. And allegedly, it's starting to get to him, right? He's got people from psych and people from medical coming up and saying hello to him often, right? Apparently, he gets a lot more visits than average. Now, I'll tell you something. If you're not on the watch, you will see psych on Wednesday when they make the rounds with the warden and the head of every other department. The head of psych will be there. Now, maybe they went up to the diddler's cell and he said, hey, man, I'm struggling here, right? You need to get me somebody up here to talk to me. They'll do that. They absolutely will do that. You fill out what's called a cop-out. No joke, right? You fill out a cop-out. A cop-out is a request to the somebody in the in whatever, like if it's in psych, you're at a cop-out to the psych department and say you need to see somebody. But they're coming to see him. Now, if he was on a live watch, right? He was at one time. When you're on that watch, they come and see you, right? Twice a day for like the first maybe 72 hours, right? And if you're on longer than that, which you shouldn't be unless the BOP is giving you their version of diesel therapy, right? Where they just lock you up in a room in a dress, don't let you shower or shave and see if you tap out. That is something that they do. Is Clive the producer? Well, he certainly was a producer, right? And he also ran Arista Records, which came together, right? And merged all of these companies, right? Merged with other companies. It is the most incestuous crap you've ever seen. But the fact that at one time, right? At one time, Universal was purchased by Seagram's. And everywhere you go and look at this, right? It doesn't say they were purchased by Diageo, which I find really funny, right? Because Seagram's is a brand of Diageo's. But, you know, if Seagram had a music division, or if there was something that seemed peeled off to one side or not, but there doesn't seem to be anything. It's just very strange that every time you see that story, it doesn't say. I mean, a couple of times it would say Seagram's parent company. Is that even their biggest brand? Is Seagram's, Diageo's got like 28 brands. Maybe Seagram's is their biggest. I don't know, man. Honestly, I don't know. Is anybody going to question the strange relationship between Doc Brown and a young Marty McFly? You need help, Sheldon. You need help. I think it was just the love of the DeLorean time machine, right? That'll bring people together. I don't know whether or not Clive is the producer that was referred to in the tapes, right? I don't know if Clyde Davis is who they were talking about in the not in the tapes, but on the phone conversation with his son. I don't know, but Clyde Davis is absolutely terrified. Why would you? I promise you, he's not slipped to the point where when they go, "Hey, you got any comment on P. Diddy?" I mean, his reaction literally is like, "Who?" Like he's really doing the, I never heard of him kind of a thing. Now, Clyde, I don't think is going to have to worry about doing time, right? I don't think Clyde Davis ends up in a cell. I don't think Clyde Davis is going to spend a whole lot of time left on Earth. Just my humble opinion. But he doesn't look good. I don't know if you've seen any recent pictures of him. Pictures are not quite as good, but if you can find video of him, he's not moving real well, people. He's not, and I don't hope that on anybody. But it doesn't seem like this is a very good guy, right? It really doesn't. And there's a lot of Clyde was a groomer. Yeah, absolutely he was. Now, A Tribe Called Duff is going to say allegedly Quincy Jones was involved in this decades ago. I don't think it stopped decades ago, right? I don't. Allegedly. There's a lot of smoke around this dude. This guy's been accused of a lot of stuff. Now, when the Me Too, I've talked about this before, but when the Me Too movement happened, I didn't see it on television. I didn't watch news reports. I didn't get any of that. I got the USA Today delivered to me. It was supposed to be 7 days a week. I was in the segregated housing unit. I used to probably get it like once a week, right? I might get 6 issues, but I wouldn't get them the day that they came in. But you say, who cares, right? It doesn't really matter if you're, it's not like I need to be up to the minute, like someone's scooping that, because there was no contact with the world at all when you're in the shoe. But I read a lot about the Me Too movement, and it was like every time we got a new newspaper, we were seeing if there was somebody else's famous name in there. But hip hop got missed, didn't it? Honestly, I've even heard people talk about this. It was just a spot of the world that maybe that just doesn't go on there, huh? Or maybe it just goes on there so damn much, right? That people don't even think about. Somebody put in the comments a moment ago, Ashton Kutcher co-hosted a white party. You ready for a Tommy opinion? This is a Tommy opinion, everybody. You hear me? Just my opinion. Just my opinion. But the Ashton Kutcher and Demi Moore relationship, right? Really strange. Allegedly, her kids quit talking to her because he was crack cocaine to that woman, right? Like he was doing something to her dome where there was nothing she wouldn't do, right? This was a woman that had given up alcohol and given up. There was none of that in her life. But once she gets, hooked with him, he basically doesn't believe in addiction. Run that through your dome again. And I'm not making that up. This came out of Demi's book. He didn't believe in addiction, right? Because it doesn't exist. We all know that. So she wanted to be the girl with him, right? And I used girl intentionally. You know, she was fighting really hard to live a lot younger than she was. She was going out with him to clubs and hanging out and consuming alcohol and allegedly consuming drugs. Now, we know she had some episodes where the authorities had to be called. That was allegedly one of those synthetic cannabinoids that you could buy at gas stations, right? K2 kind of a thing. And that does make people get kooky. They abuse it a lot inside prison, and it's really disgusting to see how this goes. I mean, it really is. Hubris does send a lot of people to prison, Shannon. Yeah, he looked shell-shocked the day of the raid. I agree with you. I absolutely agree with you. It hasn't been that case up to this point, though, has it? Honestly, has it? Up to this point, people have been playing forever. I mean, Clive's probably going to get off this planet without paying. A couple of guys from Great Britain, right, got away with it their entire career, and ended up passing away. And just like the bully on the playground, you know what I mean? When the person's gone, people start to feel comfortable enough to tell their stories. Like Jimmy Savile, none of that came out while he was alive, correct? Like that really, I mean, there were probably a lot of murmurs and things like that, but these people that don't pay, I think it's the reason why everybody is so fascinated with this, right? Gypsy Soul, don't let this happen again. Last time. I'm kidding. Of course, Paddington was real. Janet says, make sure he doesn't unalive himself. You know, I question. I question. I'm super, super disturbed. I'm super disturbed. The concept, even honestly, I promise you, people, if anything I say here ever you believe, I want you to believe this. That was a. Did you ever get the text that says there's a package of yours that needs to be cleared at U.S. Customs? Just click on this, right? Don't ever click on that, people. It will absolutely shut that down. I am hoping, and yes, I know I just stopped, but I didn't want to say that. I'm hoping against hope that this takes out the entertainment industry, right? Seriously. Now, the problem is, if it were to take it out, if it were to blow it off the planet right now, if everybody that had anything to do with anything in Hollywood, if anybody that had anything to do with the music industry, any of it, kids television, right? Anywhere where the stench of this has been going on for a long time, right? Anywhere where that stench has been going on, if we got rid of all of it, somebody would have to take those jobs the following day. And it makes you wonder if a certain type of scumbag gravitates toward that job, or does that job turn people who are even partially messed up into the most evil people on the planet? All right, you know what? I will say it, and I'll just throw an allegedly in front of it. I'm of the firm belief, right? I'm of the firm belief that because Demi Moore was out in the weeds the way she was, right? And this is what's alleged. Her kids said that they walked away until she was ready to give up that kind of addiction, right? Like a codependence almost. She was addicted to a human being. Everybody says this. Now, he went to a lot of Diddy parties. A lot. He went to a lot of Diddy parties with her. If you were going to parties with a guy that was a hell of a lot younger than you, that you just did not want to lose, and he's doing some things that, you know, normally you would probably not have anything to do with, that may be the kind of thing that could cause problems, right? That could cause problems. I'm not saying it did. There's no way to tell. But I'll tell you something. When they start talking about a big star, right? Celebrity A and B, right? That would be that would be candidates. No, I don't know. It's creepy as hell. It's creepy as hell, people, how interconnected every one of these groups seem to be, and the amount of money that these you tend to think of. It's rock and roll or it's hip hop or whatever. We're talking about companies that are machines. So you've heard the rumor. There's a big rumor in the Diddy Verse that the only reason any of this happened is because he went to Diageo and said, hey, I don't think you're pushing my brand the way that you should be. And I think it's because of race. And I want to be compensated a lot more than the $1 billion that I've been compensated up to this point. Right? A lot of people believe that, I'm sorry. Do you think Demi Moore wanted to start Thorn with Ashton to actually work against trafficking or as a front to maintain it? I think neither. I think that people that get involved and do things that they know aren't proper. I think that people do this sometimes as a way of putting out that lovely image, right? That lovely image of who they are. It's a way of kind of keeping themselves somewhat accepted, right? Looking like they're above reproach. And I believe that's the original name of that was it had something to do with their names. See if somebody could look that up for me. What was the original name of Thorn? Because when it started and it was Demi and Ashton, it was just letters. DNA. That's what it was called. Look that up and see if I'm wrong. It was called DNA. Not bad for an old dude with cognitive decline. Lumen, good to see you. Can't believe I pulled that out. RM Blake, how are you? Andrew J. Diddy and Chirac, Seagram's, Bronfman's, Nexium, massive liquor companies. And if it was just liquor, but it wasn't, right? They bought Universal Music. For real, Diageo bought Universal Music. Now, it seems like then everything gets sold off to these weird, I think honestly, that they don't want to have all of those things on paper because it starts to look like, and this is just my opinion, but it starts to look like you're almost using the music to push a lifestyle that's not only going to sell a lot of your booze, but it's going to keep prisons stocked with new customers because a lot of your friends happen to own private prisons. How's that? How's that? You know what? Some say Demi was to distract from his T ways. I'm not exactly sure, right? Honestly, I'm not exactly sure, but I heard somebody yesterday say, you know what? It's a blessing that that Bruce Willis is not aware of everything that's going on, right? It would probably kill him. Indigo Twin says DNA, Demi and Ashton. When it was founded in 2009 by Demi Moore and Ashton Kutcher, the name was changed in 2012 after the couple's divorce. And if I'm not mistaken, the year that he co-hosted the White Party with Diddy, was that 07? I think it might have been 07. So I don't know, just for funsies, you and your wife go to a party, right? Your friend talks you into doing something that you really shouldn't have done, right? And you walk out of there so bummed out at the human being that you are that you decide to start I don't know, wouldn't be a bad script. Now, it's just one guy's opinion, but it does seem really odd to me that it's an odd choice for a charity from a guy who's got two of his best friends. They went around the country hitting bars. They went around the world hitting bars and going out as the new Rat Pack. Okay? Diddy, Ashton Kutcher, Danny Masterson, good God, right? Wilder Valderrama, Fess from that 70s show. I did a show on it. Now I can't remember. Is it Valderrama? Valderrama. Wilmer Valderrama. He was a member in there too, apparently. And so was Jamie Foxx. Jamie Foxx's new special is getting ready to come out, right? And in his own words, right? In his own words, he said, this is not a comedy special. This isn't a comedy special. This is my way of telling people what happened, but doing it in the only way I know how. That's what he said. So I'm going to go out on a limb and say that everything people are saying about that is the truth. When he went out there in his comedy, he said, I didn't get sick. I was poisoned by Diddy. Like he says that in the from stage. And when the audience laughs, he doesn't. Right? So allegedly, right after that happened, he called the feds. Right? As soon as he was able, he called the feds. And you know what? If that is the truth, good for you, man. Straight up. Good for you. Good for somebody taking this dude down. Because by all accounts, this guy was a kind of evil you can't wrap your brain around. I promise you. So a lot of the stuff I'm reading, you can't even, I don't know how I would say it on here to not get demonetized or lose half my audience. But some of the stuff that it has been alleged to happen, right, concerning people not old enough to have a learner's permit, this guy, if 30% of what they're accusing this guy of doing, he did, he's Satan. Jeffrey Epstein, Harvey Weinstein, and Diddy Frankenstein. What would you call this movie? Good Lord, man. You know, what was you remember how they had the Expendables? This would be the Predators. And you probably have to get, there's probably one or two more heavy hitters you could throw in there, although some are dead. But Masterson wouldn't be bad on that list either, the scumbag. Right? Really bad people, man. Right? Right? And that's what Hollyweird is. It's just one big and weird image they're putting up. And you know what? We've known about this, haven't we? We've known about this for a long time, don't we? No joke. This isn't news to us. That big red country, right? And if I say their name, it starts with a C, right? If I say their name, they're going to bury the video. I'm not kidding you, or demonetize the puppy, because that's just how it happens. It's just how it happens. Energy vampires steal the energy of children. Yeah, I agree with you. I think that it's more than a group of people that are coming together to do disgusting things, right? It's more than that. I believe it is what the government accuses this of being. This was a way to get the kind of information that if you have the ability to go into a safe and pull it out whenever you want, then you can steer things to make you a ton of money, right? To make you a ton of money. Yeah, that's really a cool way to put it, man. Los Angeles is the city of dreams where anybody can make it if they play by the script. Hey, I forgot. Good to see you. Well, and that's really what this looks like, isn't it? Right? In the interview that Freddie P did, and I'm telling you, this guy's sharp as hell. You may have to listen to it a couple of times. I had to, but this guy is sharp. And we've had questions on here all the time, right? Tom, do you think every single person in Hollywood then had an egg inserted in their backside? Or sign some kind of a contract to sell their soul and get $50 million, right? Because these kind of things have been suggested. And, I find myself saying, no, I don't know that it's everybody. It's too hard to believe, right? But even like what Freddie said, people like Denzel Washington, right? You don't see Denzel out on the town with his wife, right? They get into Hollywood to film and do the things that they do, and then they step out of Hollywood, right? They get the hell away from it because it's toxic. If you believe the Kim Porter book, right? I don't know if you guys have read the Kim Porter book, but if you believe the Kim Porter book, in the book, I'm not going to say she, because I don't know who wrote the thing, right? But in the memoirs, the Kim Porter character, if it's the Kim Porter character, finds out she's pregnant. And she tells a Sean Combs in the character in the book that she's pregnant, and thought he was going to be bummed out about it, but he wasn't. No, he wasn't at all. But before we got to get one more freak off, and before you start to get bigger or whatever. Can you imagine taking your significant other, right? And by the way, Freddie in his interview said, "Yeah, I tend to believe this, man. I really tend to believe this." He thinks, and I think he thinks that the pitch was probably, from the diddler, the pitch was probably, this is what pays for these houses, right? This is why we can live the way that we do. It's a business model. If what they're saying at the top is the truth, this is a business model. That's creepy, isn't it? And creepy as hell. Yeah, if you don't play along, it does become one of these things where if you don't play along, this is going to get released. If you don't do this, this is going to get released. And it ends up U.S. Postal Code. You're not kidding me. Because, Mom, we're going to see a lot come out of this. We are. Now, I have a theory, too. I've been looking at the RICO thing, and there have been times in the past. If you start looking up other RICO cases, there have been times in the past where you see somebody arrested, and he's obviously the head of this RICO operation, and they wait for the names of all of the people that are involved below him, and you're expecting to see 60, 70 names, and you end up seeing about 5 or 4. Because what's happened is everybody else is now a witness, and they build bulletproof, right, concrete bunker of a case that nothing you're going to do is going to poke a hole in. And nobody from that little time period that worked with him, that was around him, that did it, no one's talking, right? No one. Maybe they're not allowed to, right? Maybe they're not allowed to talk until this case is over. Maybe they're on the witness list and they're not supposed to talk about any of this until it's go time. I think that's a possibility. I think it happens. I think it happens in politics too. I don't think you have to put a 2 on this, right? I think this was part of that. I think that Epstein, all of this, who are they, right? Who are they? Because somebody had this idea, and I don't think it was P. Diddy. And I don't think it was Clyde Davis. I don't. This is, I think that this has probably been going on for a really, really, really long time. Bill Herrera says, I think Diddy's personal assistant lady, KK, I assume you mean, is in WITSEC. You know what? That's not such a stretch, man. That's not such a stretch. WITSEC is a program run by I believe by the Secret Service, but it's where they take an individual and they erase him off of planet Earth, and they create a new individual with a backstory and a social security number and a list of years they paid taxes and how much they paid. And then they set him up in some town somewhere in America, and they buy him a little video store. I say that because somebody in my hometown, actually, when I was growing up, we had a video store, and it turned out that the original owner of that was WITSEC. They had put him in there and bought him the store. And when he went rogue and took off, this will tell you how old I am. In the town that I lived in, he got a bunch of people to put very large down payments down for Cabbage Patch dolls, which he said he could get as many as you wanted, right? And he took a lot of money from people and took off. And then the video store got sold. But turns out he was a WITSEC guy. Traffic stain. Oh, that's not bad right there. That's not bad right there. Illuminati. You know what? And on. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. Yeah, you know what? The intelligence community says dangerous journeyman. Hard to argue that, right? Doesn't this feel more like that? I mean, is it me? Look at the scope of these operations. For real. Look at the amount of cash that it had to take to get these things off the ground, right? I mean, these parties were epic. Millions and millions of dollars for a party. And I promise you, by his own words, he wasn't paying for that. He wasn't. And I'll tell you something. I said yesterday on the show, because people always go, Obama was at one of those parties. Trump was at one of those parties. They didn't, I promise you, they're not getting past that little thing that you stand on the red carpet in front of and they take your picture, right? It's for the publicity stills, right? So that they can, page 6 has got something that they can put down for, hey, guess what happened this weekend? If I had my name on those backdrops, right? If it said, Chirac on there, or it said any of those businesses, if my business name was on that, oh man, you're just out there right now going, God, would I like to take that back? Because this is going to drag not just human beings through the mud, people. It's not. It's going to drag some big businesses through the mud as well. We're going to see that there were businesses that weren't complicit in this. I mean, they were damn near co-conspirators in this. Right? Everybody looked away when he punched Cassie in the face. When he dragged her by the hair, right? Everybody looked away. That's creepy stuff. This guy's name, Jimmy Iovine. He's another one. We're gonna do a whole show on him though. Oh, it's the U.S. Marshal Service. Why, thank you. I thought for sure that was a part of, but I never got a shot at that. Yeah, it's what they say, Bev Miller. Life sucks. I'm telling you. Yeah, I got that. Lynn B says, I believe the majority of freak off victims are small celebs. You mean like not A class celebrities, but more like a B grade celebrity? That could be the case. I think in some ways, I mean, that's a possibility. But I also think they catch people on the way up. You know what I'm saying? They catch people on the way up. And by doing that, these people become big name stars, allegedly. A lot of these people become big name stars after they start giving it up to Diddy. Sorry, but that's what's alleged, right? You want to be a star, right? You want to go huge, give up your backside. I'm not being funny. This is what has been alleged, right? And then when you decide you want to step away from that or get away from that or start talking smack about it, he uses some form of chemical warfare, right? Honestly. And allegedly starts poisoning people. And there's reason to believe that this works, right? There's a reason to believe that this is actually going on. You're good, Ann. In today's world, you would have to know what slant the channel or network is on. Yeah. And then disregard half of what they say and find the truth for yourself. And unfortunately, right, some of the people that are giving out the news are owned by the same companies for real. When you start, I'm talking about incestuous, when you see how intertwined everything is, it's frightening. And you get to a point where the people that are really digging deep, the people that are really unrolling this stuff, are now starting to do their videos start like this. I'm a happy camper. I got a great life. If by some chance in the next 6 days they write up that I decided to leave planet Earth, it's not going to be because I wanted to. And I mean, it's as scary as that is. There are people out there that are dealing with this. Big hello from Germany. I'm pretty sure that Heidi Clum is also involved in all of that dirty swamp over here. Nobody really likes her. Well, how about that? You know what's fun? It's fun sometimes to Google all of the stars that Leonardo DiCaprio has dated, right? Google that list and it will blow you away. But Heidi's on there. Everybody on earth seemed to have dated that guy, including Danny Masterson's ex, who, by the way, right? I've been digging into Bijou Phillips, right? This isn't an allegedly. You can find out all this everywhere. She was also pretty good friends with Diddy, right? Like not just attending a party or stuff. They were friends. They apparently got along, which I find absolutely bizarre to me, right? Bizarre. Especially with her, with what happened with her husband. Maybe it's one of those things where they think this is cool. Because I promise you couldn't have been hanging out. You might be able to wander into a party and then back out and not know what's going on, right? But if you're best friends with this cat, if you're hanging out at the parties at the inner sanctum, there's something really odd about a party where everybody starts falling down drunk on the first sip, right? Nobody finishes a drink. There are people laid out on the floor. There are people who describe this just like that. Like you walk into some of these parties and there are people sprawled out on the floor, passed out. And we've talked about it here. You're talking about these drugs are not as stable as it sounds when they're talking about, you gave them GHB or, oh, by the way, I had like 3 people send me emails. When I talked yesterday, right, about Matthew Perry, I did not say Matthew Perry died from GHB. And I went back and listened to it because so many of you emailed me. What I said was the 2 drugs that have been alleged to be used by this criminal organization, right, that the feds say Diddy's crew is. The 2 drugs that come up that are, they talk about ecstasy, that's great. But the stuff that knocks you out, right, the 2 that can really incapacitate somebody, they talked about gamma hydroxybutyrate. Not stable, not safe. It's what killed River Phoenix. And the other is special K, right? Ketamine. And ketamine is what killed Matthew Perry. And that is what I said. Ah, great. I'll tell you what, I love having you here. Thank you. I really appreciate it. It's a very kind thing to say. It's a very, very kind thing to say. Appreciate you. I really, there sure are. I'm sorry, but there sure are a lot of people that seem to be around these type of shows. Do you know why? Come on, let's think about it logically. Let's think about it logically. Why would they be getting involved in those kind of shows? Because this actually makes a hell of a lot of sense. And when you start thinking about it in these terms, things will start looking a little bit differently. But the reason they dig it, yeah, you know something? The ketamine thing, Scotty, I'm with you. I've never been much of a ketamine fan. Terrifying drug. Even when I did drugs, terrifying drug. They it can put you into a position where your sight goes away and you feel like you're at the bottom of a well looking up. They call it K-hole. It's one of the worst feelings in the entire world. So the reality TV and talent especially shows you've got an army of people who are showing up there that only want what? They only want to be famous. These are rubes. I'm not being disrespectful, but they're so far away from the Hollywood. But this is the target market for these kind of people, right? The target market, somebody from New Hampshire or West Virginia or one of the Dakotas, wherever, that has a dream about becoming a star. Oh my God, that is their fertile, right? Predatory hunting grounds. Any different than what happened with Abercrombie and Fitch? Same thing, except these were young men, and they were young men walking in there that just wanted to be Ashton Kutcher. For real, they all want to be male models. They all want to make it, right? And allegedly, there were several casting couches with that freak. Right, his fantasy was a casting couch. Like the guy, sick people. But they would not only were they taking people who wanted to be models, but when they would set them up, as there was a alleged male prostitution ring, they would go in there and then set up a role play scenario where the model plays a model. God, help us, man! It goes to show you. Right? When we say this isn't about sex, right? This isn't about sex. Not in any of the cases is it about sex. It's about power. I mean, you got to see that. This is absolutely about power. And I find it frightening. You know what? Do me a favor. If you've got a wrench, start smacking people with it, because I'm in that kind of mood. Diddy has no real friends. That's why they aren't there for him. Well, that's part of it. And the other part of it is they're terrified that they're going to get implicated. So when the lawsuit comes out from Little Rod says 250 minimum cameras. But there are 250 minimum hidden cameras. So these people who thought, I didn't go to freak offs. I never did anything like that, man. Like, I've been to a couple of Diddy parties, and, once I screwed around with a couple of people at a Diddy party, but then you start hearing whatever room you were in, it was wired, right? For camera and for sound. Well, that's a frightening concept, isn't it? So all of these people out there, there's been a lot made of the fact that, Diddy's kids, Jay-Z's like Uncle Jay, right? Literally, like that's their uncle kind of a setup. And a lot of us have an uncle who's not, or an aunt that's not really a family member, but they kicked it so tough with your mom and dad that you ended up just calling him uncle or whatever. Well, that supposedly is the relationship that he's got with his kids. And it's like that dude Freddie said in his interview, hey, man, how come Uncle Jay isn't going by to take care of that financial problem, right? Dude's a billionaire. He's having problems with making his car payment. Give the guy $180,000, man. You can't make his car payment. Give him 180 grand. Or give him $1 million and say, get this back to me when your old man's out. Hell no. Because they're all happy he's gone, right? They're all happy he's gone. This guy made gangsters nervous. For real. This guy made gangsters nervous. This guy made people who were afraid, right? I mean, people that weren't afraid of anything, right? It's a frightening concept. To me, it is. It's a very frightening concept that this guy is such a savage that people who walk around strapped, right? These are people who really are about that lifestyle, that honestly live it. That, to me, says a lot. That says a lot. By all accounts, you know, Jay-Z, who's hard as hell, changes completely when in the presence of Diddy. Almost like, well, and this is a thing among criminals. I'm sorry, it is. Like, you're hanging out in a room of like 9 guys, and there's a dude in that room that allegedly may have unalived a person or two, right? The deference to that guy in the room is always a lot different. Even inside, right? In prison, it's the same thing. Like, if there's a guy in the unit and he's, you know, it's known that he unalived 6 people, that no one might like the guy, right? But everybody's going to respect the guy. Everybody's going to get out of the dude's way. Everybody's going to try to just keep themselves safe, right? Ain't going to be no punk, but they're going to walk away. They're going to stay away from this dude, and they're going to be relieved as hell when he goes to the hole. Everybody and their brother, they may not say it out loud, but they're going to be stoked when that dude goes to the hole. Diddy just went to the hole. He's in the timeout chair, right? He's in the no fun timeout chair, and he's not going to get out of that chair. And it's really becoming obvious to me what's going on with the feds. I don't know how great a case they got. None of us really do. But it doesn't matter at all. It doesn't matter. I think that everybody has said that for a very long time. They've all talked about how many people this guy's unalived. He was allegedly involved in this hit. He was allegedly involved in that hit. He was allegedly one of the shooters at the nightclub on the J-Lo incident from the late 90s, right? The one that Shine Barrow was convicted of. They keep hearing this stuff about everything, but he's not getting hit for any of it, is it? Right? Allegedly, he had his baby's mama taken out, right? And trust me, the feds have heard about this. Now, we've talked about this before. 2013, the feds started an investigation against this guy for doing things with people that were underage. And at the time, I theorized that, you know what? Maybe they're dirty. Maybe because he's an informant, they were willing to sweep some of that under the carpet. Now, that's the kind of stuff that'll make you sick. Hey, Tampa. But it's a possibility, isn't it? But another possibility is that everybody is terrified of this dude to the point like it was with the mob, where you be outside, 14 people, 15 people are going to watch something go down and nobody saw nothing, right? That's real. If you believe that they're going to knock you off, if you believe they're going to kill you, that's a frightening concept. And a lot of times people will go away, right? It's messed up, people. It's really messed up. His children aren't children anymore. Some of them are near 30. Actually, one of them is 30. It's time to start taking responsibility for their actions. Otherwise, we just get more Diddies. I think there's a lot of truth to that. By the way, there have been some people that seem to be kind of involved in this at a level other than me. Right? These are people whose proximity to Diddy. They're not just commentators. They're not people that are analyzing this. They're people that know Diddy. And I was watching a few of them talking in an interview the other day, and they were talking about the call from jail between Diddy and his son. I have seen 3 other people talking about certain parts of that. Like one of the guys brought up the plastic. What do you think he meant when he was talking about the recycling? People aren't even talking about this anymore as if there's a possibility. People seem to believe that phone call is real, and I'm leaning in that direction myself. Right? I really do believe that it's a legit call. I guess in this day and age, man, it's almost impossible to know anything's real. Kimora Lee used to be very vocal about the twins. Kimora Lee has been very vocal about a lot of things, right? And I don't mean that in a bad way, but she was very close friends with Kim Porter, and I think that with everything that's gone on in her life, right? He had to be really disgusted by everything that was going on with all of that, right? With her husband and everything that went on with that has got to be looking a lot like Diddy right now. And she had to watch her best friend going through all the things that Kim Porter went through. I mean, I don't care how much you think that some of the people coming forward may be just trying to do a money grab or whatever. There's nobody on earth that doesn't think Diddy was beating that woman, right? Nobody. There was a guy in the industry, a guy in the music and sort of the hip hop industry named Courtney Burgess. Courtney Burgess has come out recently to say that he was and is the one of the people that one of the originators of the Kim Porter book, right? And if you do a little research on him, he managed a lot of musicians, and he had worked with Tupac. But anyway, he alleges right now that when he got all of the info for the Kim book, that he also got with it a crap load of all of the recordings. He says he's got them. He says he's got them, and he's doing interviews with people and going around right now on different shows and starting to show what he or at least some of the images of what he claims that he's got, which is pretty wild, man. Pretty wild. Now, I don't know whether or not everybody asks. There are certain questions that get asked every single time somebody sends me an email. And one of them is, are we really going to see anybody that is anybody really going to get caught with this? Yeah, I promise you, man. I would take cash bets on it. Now, I don't think that the people that really should get taken down are gonna, right? I don't know that we're going to see, again, opinions, but I don't think we're going to see Sir Lucian Grange go out in handcuffs, right? And let's see, Russell Simmons isn't in the U.S. anymore. And I think that there's going to be a lot of people that might decide that, you know what, the U.S. maybe isn't such a great place to live anymore. Maybe I'd like to live abroad. I think we're going to see some of that. Yeah. Courtney Burgess did say that he's not scared of anybody. He did say he is not afraid of any of it. And he is, he also says that everything in that Kim Porter book is real. It's all true. Now, if that's the truth, then there is video, right? If you read the Kim Porter book, then there's video of Diddy and a very young male singer. That's not Usher. Although there's probably video of that too. Most already have an escape plan set. You would think so. Crafty Witch. You honestly would think so. But you know what I think we're starting to see? I don't think the feds are as dumb as we all think they are. For real. I agree with you, Cindy. I won't argue that point. It's getting worse by the day. Yeah, RM Blake says, I agree. We'll see some big stars moving to non-extradition countries very soon. I think some have already hauled the mail. Seriously, if I started to list off stars' names, you couldn't tell me where they are, I promise you. Right? Where are they at? And the reason I say that is normally, we're going to hear so-and-so was photographed here, so-and-so was photographed there. Also, there's a lot of people, man, a lot of really crazy stuff being brought up. Hold on one second. That's a great question, man. What a cool question. Which celebrity would you most like to see charged? Your number one is Oprah. You know what? It would be really hard not to be happy with that, right? I think everybody could. I would be happy if Oprah was the one of the big names that was getting taken down. However, I think that I think I would probably be just as happy with Ashton Kutcher for finding a woman laying on the ground dying. He couldn't have seen that from the window. It's already been established, which means he went into that house. He saw her laying on the floor, right? Was she dead? Was she in the process of dying? Right? Honestly, but how do you not call 911? If your career is worth more than that girl laying on the ground, then you should probably go to prison. Yeah. And if that happened, and we know it did. I mean, we know it did. But if that happened the way that it happened, you got to start asking yourself, why would we not think that he was doing these things at freak-offs? Honestly, what kind of sick SOB walks away from a person lying in a puddle of their own blood? By the way, somebody that you probably kissed, right? You're starting a relationship. They were tight by all accounts, right? Second or third date. There's something seriously awful about that for real. And it allowed the Hollywood slasher to go and slash more people. One of whom, I had a friend whose friend was the last victim of the slasher. So yeah, I'd like to see Ashton go down. I would very much like to. I mean, I've been pretty open about this. I would like to see a perp walk, right? You know something? Anybody want to argue with this? With Sean's first comment? Tell you what though, talk about a good one. You went yard on your first comment. Where do you go from here, bro? There's no going. I mean, it's all downhill. No, that really is a good one. That really is a good one. Will Smith, right? Will Smith. There's a lot of smoke around this guy. A lot. There really is. And you can look him up, right? Bashir Gray. Just look up and read about him and Bashir Gray. And then you can tell me if you believe it or don't believe it. But look it up. Look it up. Look it up. Look it up. I don't know that the mom's going to walk free. I don't know that the mom is going to walk free. B says he said Kim called for him, Diddy, to take the kids because she was sick. Then it was said to be his scheduled time with them anyway. So this is throwing me off, as well as the man may walk free. Now, the man's not going to walk free. I don't think there's a chance that the man walks free. I know there's not a chance. And here's why. I think the government is putting some huge charges together. I think that they're looking for superseding indictments so that they can broaden this and take down everybody. But if the stuff hit the fan, right? If all they could do was go back and say, felon in possession of a firearm, right? They have them. They're photographed. They're in their possession. 3 of them have obliterated serial numbers, right? They have super high capacity magazines. That is, I know the statute that is, right? I know what statute that is. And I know what statute that is because I have been, I've gone to prison on it. And I promise you, right? The amount of time that would carry would terrify you, right? That would be enough. They could throw him in prison for 35 years. I'm not playing. It's super easy for a judge to give you 35 years on that. It would be really hard for him to give you less than 15 or 20, right? Because everybody that went before him, especially if they were the same color, got the book thrown at them. 7 street sweepers. These are the ones that you take out and do horrific things with. These are the ones that everybody on earth is freaking out about. ARs, AKs. He had the big stuff, the big bullets, the big artillery. That's not good. It's not. That'd be enough. Then Charge him with the dope that you found. You understand that the huge charges, you could just take the small ones, right? And get this guy life on the installment plan, right? Give me 10 on this, run it to the next sentence, which would be 15 on that, run it to the next sentence. You ain't gonna live that long. But I don't think they're gonna have any problem at all. If any of the male sex workers that they brought in said they got paid, that's it, right? Cash is an enticement to bring someone to another state. Right? That's it. There it is. You just proved it. If you're moving a human being, right, from one place to another for the purpose of a transaction based on the person, right? That's what's happening. It's human tea, and there's just too much crap that isn't going to be hard to prove. It isn't. He's in real trouble, I guess, unless everybody unalive themselves. If they all the whole witness list Epstein themselves all at once. But I have a feeling that's why dude's not getting out. That's why every judge isn't even considering it. God forbid, man, you put him on the street and just one person from your witness list has an accident. Now, no judge wants that. No judge wants that, man. That's the end of your career. No way, man. No way. Lisa Trimble says, now that Sean Combs has been charged, can we get a Sean Carter? Scotty makes a really good point. Anyone who has a stage name and then changes it halfway through is an idiot. Puff Daddy, P. Diddy, blah, blah, blah. That's funny. It really is. It's funny. Starting tomorrow, I will be Jason Whitmore. I can't back that up. Lynn B. I love it when people do this, right? Because sometimes you say stuff and people don't. But, man, do a little research. Do a little research on Will Smith. Yeah. And Bashir. It'll bum you out. Jada is vile. Boy, she is, isn't she? Boy, she is. It's always fun if you know someone's kids' names. Because when people, again go, oh, who cares? Put their kids' names into the situation. You follow me? Like, so you got a 17-year-old kid? Okay. Their best friend comes home and sleeps with the kid's mom, right? Your best friend comes home, sleeps with your mother. That would be a really difficult one to get over. Maybe it's me. I wonder why the kid wanted to be emancipated, right? I wonder why the kid wanted the hell out of that house. How about the fact that every time they go on a talk show, his dad tries to stick his tongue down his throat? It's disgusting. Angela Keegan says, who's not involved? I'll tell you what. We should do a show and call it Who's Not Involved. Because allegedly everybody's involved. And I'll tell you something else. Allegedly, across the board in all of this, there is a initiation of some sort, right? I don't know whether in the beginning, right? Because they talk about it. This has come out. Like the early freak-offs, they all wore masks. Eyes wide shut stuff. For real. Did he make everybody in there put on a mask? He put one on. I don't know how long in they gave up on that. But this was ritualistic stuff. It really was. And you're forcing people to do things sexually that go against their normal proclivities, right? He's asking men who theoretically are straight to do X, Y, and Z if they want to be stars. Is it any wonder why so many people freaked the hell out? Right? For real. And a lot of them have. There are people that have, again, you can, if you want to have some fun, Google friends of Diddy that have run out into the streets screaming and naked, because that happens a lot to his friends. I'm not sure why, but it really does get to be, oh, this is going to be the biggest defense ever. Somebody just read that as I was scrolling by. No, this is going to be a $100 million defense. Yeah, there you go. Prince, I don't think Prince needed to kiss anyone's ass because he had unbelievable amounts of talent, right? And I think that's what separates dirty Hollywood from clean Hollywood. I think that guys who go in or gals who go in who can hit 5 octaves, right? I don't think they're going to, I don't think that they're going to tolerate too much BS. Somebody starts doing that, they go, I'll go to the next label, right? I'm going to go to the next label. But if you go in there and you can't carry a tune in a bucket, but with auto tune and some people writing, yeah, they can Milli Vanilli you right to the top, right? Now, those people, you can own. I've even heard people joke about it, right? This has come up in movies too. You don't want talent. Talent are hard to deal with. You bring someone in and you give them the talent, write their songs for them, give them auto tune, get them a background group. Yeah, now you own them. Now you own them. I'll take away your auto tune, fool. Right? I made you. I can take it all back. I'll show that video I got of you. Then you don't have to give these people rights to their music or any of the other foulness he was doing. What is nobody saying about J-Lo's involvement? Well, here you go. I'll say something about J-Lo's involvement. We're going to see her name come up in this. I believe a lot more than you would think. And I have said before, I am of the belief, right? I am of the belief that when it's all said and done, and this all comes out in the wash, the number of people that end up on this case with him, the number of people who are going to be co-defendants, if you will, or indicted with the same co-conspirators, whatever the case may be. I don't think it's going to be as big a list as we thought it was. I think there are some people that probably can't dodge a bullet. There are going to be some people that are just way too involved. But I think that there are going to be a lot of people on these tapes that are going to stone cold shock you. And there's going to be a lot of people that don't. And the one that isn't going to shock anybody, I think, is going to be J-Lo. I don't think that's going to shock anybody. Look, if you believe what everyone has said, and I do, he didn't have a problem carrying his piece into a nightclub, right? And then carrying it out after he used it, right? After he used it to discharge his weapon and get a bullet lodged in someone's face, right? Oh, come on, man. You got to be a gangster. You got to be a gangster. For real. If I'm inside a nightclub and somebody pops a cap and then goes, here, man, carry this out. Yeah, no. The hell away from me, fool. You're on your own. In fact, carried it in. Now, J-Lo and her recent husband got divorced real quickly, right? Real quickly. J-Lo's dad's a Scientologist. I don't think his mom is. Her mom is, but her dad definitely was. Leonardo DiCaprio, says Cindy Chris. I think, there's another one that really wouldn't shock you, would it? Yeah, J-Lo is a gangster. J-Lo, she is absolutely. How about LeBron? Who the hell's LeBron? Oh, tall guy, used to play basketball, right? If he's not on a court, you can't see him, find him. That dude is, ain't no party like a Diddy party. Do you think he would give you $10 million to get that short back? To get that video back where he comes on and says, everybody knows ain't no party like a Diddy party. Oh, man, he wishes that was gone. Oh, man, he wishes that was gone. KP in Arizona. K-Pin in Arizona. Okay, here we go, KP. I don't think they're going to take down any big names, celebs, or executives. I think this is a deep, dark rabbit hole that the New York federal prosecutor Williams is known for covering up the T word. Well, he led with the T word, right? He led with the T word. And I'll be honest, I was surprised by that. I really was. I didn't think that was going to be the charges that, I guess we did once the doors got kicked in because it was Homeland Security that raided the place We had to know at that point that this had something to do with HT, right? You know, that kind of trafficking. LeBron is busy reading his only book. Well played, Scotty. LeBron and his son recently played together for LA. Well, you like to see that, don't you? I wonder if they attended any freak-offs together, because allegedly King Combs and his old man did, and allegedly they've got some video of that. Did you just throw up in your mouth a little bit? Can you imagine going to a sex party with your dad? I think, honestly, I would rather gargle with gasoline. Yeah, there you go. The shit's out of the horse. Now it's just a matter of seeing where it falls. And you know something? Honestly, I'm sorry, man. Diddy had his own sex cult. Yeah, he did, right? LeBron should stop wearing dresses. Well, that particular, and I love how, we were watching a podcast, it was my brother, and the guy on the podcast said, you know how it is, man. He probably just got drunk, started acting stupid, and they were like, hey, man, why don't you try on? Dude, he's 7 foot what? Who's got a French maid's outfit just sitting around that's going to fit a dude that's 7'6" and 200 and whatever pounds, or 6'7", or I mean, let's just put it this way. I really doubt that they have that in just laying around, right? Who doesn't have a dress laying around that would fit a NBA player? Oh, no. He ordered that. Sorry. Hey, Kristen Melinda. I don't know if I said hi earlier. I agree they need to take down LeBron and Odell Beckham. Is that who you meant? Oh, no, or Lamar Odom. Oh, there you go. I'd like to see Odell Beckham get arrested too. How's that? Depraved, that's what happens after 30 years of ideology. Anything goes. Well, you know something? We have allowed ourselves to backslide. I'm not talking about America, by the way. I'm talking about the freaking world. Now we definitely lead it. See, this is what I think too, man. This is what I think too. Now, by the way, that clip of film. Everybody knows the clip of film we're talking about. It's the Odell Beckham video, right? This is the Odell Beckham video. Does anybody know who leaked that video? Does anybody know how that video came into being? Who took it? Does anybody have any idea? Because I'll tell you something. Our boy Courtney that I was just talking about, I saw that clip of film, right? Without everything on the outside, without the top, and the concept of this has to be from a different angle, right? Because instead of Justin, when Justin Bieber stands up, you will watch Odell Beckham pull up his pants. There's no two ways about it. There is no two ways about it. And I will get a copy of this, right? I don't think I can show it, but I can get a still out of it that I know I can show. And just from the still, you'll be able to see dudes pulling his pants up. You'll be able to see it. You know something? I am looking forward. I'm sorry. I'm looking forward to this. Does that make me a bad person? Yeah, his pants were down. That's exactly right. There's no getting around it. He's the first thing he's doing, right? He's and you ever been caught doing something you shouldn't? Do you ever have somebody walk in while you're smoking something or do it? And you know that moment of that's the look Odell's got. Like, holy crap, why is that phone, it's disturbing. It really is disturbing. And I want to see everybody pay for it. I really do. And, the odds are 1 in a bazillion. But, you just happen to, if you ever happen to get into Justin Bieber's circle. Let the dude know he didn't do a damn thing wrong. For real. You know, he's disappearing too. And can you imagine what the embarrassment would be for all of this coming out? You know what I mean? He was a baby, people. He was a baby. And if what you believe, you know, if what people are alleging is true, they were passing him around like a party favor. Like they got him completely blitzed and then took advantage of the kid in ways that are going to F you up for the rest of your time on the planet. And I'll tell you something, that video where the diddler is going like this and running his hand on dude to see if he's wearing a wire, and he puts his hand on his back, runs it down there. It's like textbook. I'm seeing if you got a wire on. There's allegedly he leans in and says, "Are you wearing a wire? Are you wearing a wire?" So he knew, he had to know what was coming, right? He had to know all of this was coming. Had to. And so Usher, right? Bieber, in both cases, right? They can call them to the stand, right? You can call them to the stand, but if the person, you know, you can be a dick on the stand, and they will just, you know, if you're really hostile, there's no point in putting someone on the stand who's just going to shut up on you and not talk, right? I'm sure you've seen it before, where somebody just gets up and is, you know, the court can hold you in contempt. They won't, because the court will realize exactly what's going on. These guys, you can't compel somebody to talk about being victimized. Sadly, I think that when you suffer in silence, really bad things happen, right? I'm hoping that all of these parties involved are getting therapy or getting counseling for real, because these kinds of events that take place, especially when you're younger, are the things that make men and women uncomfortable in their own skin, right? Round the clock. And when you're uncomfortable in your own skin, you'll do anything to make that feeling go away. I did heroin. Everybody finds something that makes that feeling go away. And if you're feeling uncomfortable in your own skin, don't suffer in silence. Hit up people on the boat. Go by the lifeboat page on, what are they calling it these days? Facebook? Never going to happen. It's a great concept with so many old trends coming back into style. I can't wait for common sense, morals, and intelligence to become cool again. Although I'll tell you something. Every generation rebels against the previous generation, right? For real. Every generation rebels against the previous generation. You have to buck on your parents. You have to, right? And I don't mean every kid. I mean generationally across the board, because there are always people that believe everything that their mom and dad say because it just happens to line up, and that's great. For the most part, though, if there's any angst at all and your mom and dad are Republicans, you're probably going to be a Democrat, at least in the beginning of your life. That is traditionally what ends up happening. And because of how much stuff has been going on with woke and everything else, there are a lot of people out there that believe that the pendulum swinging in the opposite direction will go a little bit farther. We could end up with it happened on I was watching a Rogan podcast when he interviewed the former president, and he was talking about, he said, you know, look at the individuals now, the people that are bucking, right? The kids that are rebelling, they're conservative. They're ultra conservative. It's crazy stuff. It really is. Crazy stuff. You stick around long enough, man, and you will see almost everything come back into style. I don't know. I mean, we saw bell bottoms, for the love of God. Mullets, right? The Kentucky waterfall, they're everywhere, man. People are rocking mullets. So much so that if I was capable, I might grow one. But if I try to go for the mullet, I get the bullet. You familiar with this? You got the cul-de-sac look. Start looking like Dr. Phil. Won't have it. Tommy, did you know Demi ex Bruce Willis was infamous for a Diddy-like affair with a young Aaron Carter? No. She spent $1 million on the young teen. Remember how close Demi, oh no, say it ain't so. Jones, say it ain't so. Oh God, I really want to believe that that's not the case. Oh, I really want to believe that's not the case. I mean, I got nothing. I don't care for Demi more much, but I love Bruce Willis, man. I do. I've always loved him. I think he's a great actor. Ashton Kutcher for Perp Walk. Holy crap, that's a t-shirt, man. We need 4 Perp Walk t-shirts. We can put people's faces on them. That's a great idea. So and so for Perp Walk. I like it. That is too funny. Never thought nostalgia for Reaganomics would be a real thing, says Hill. Have no fury. Called it a skullet around your house, huh? Yeah, we've been going with the bullet. That's what the guys in the joint called it. I didn't want, kind of like it, the tribute to Q. I stopped shaving my head because, you know, I didn't want anybody to think that I was associated with any of those people that are ultra right wing and hate the black folks. And inside prison, there's a lot of those. And because my best friend in there was black, I stopped shaving my dome, and I ended up with the bullet. Really bad. Actually, you know, there's like 13 hairs on top, and if I organized them just right, they kind of covered the absolutely awful, absolutely awful. Bad. You know something? Did you substance you were struggling with? Did it happen to be an opiate? Because comfortably numb is that's just really kind of the H in the national anthem. How do you feel about snitching? I'm not talking about close friends or family, but just snitching in general. Honestly, I feel if it's between me and someone else, well, I'll tell you something. There you go. Right, make me real popular. All of the people that get out and you know, they stand on their you'll hear me beat on people that touch kids. I understand a snitch. Now I'm not saying it's cool, right? I'm not, but I completely understand it. The guy gets busted and he's sitting in the police station and he's like, I don't want to go to jail. I don't want to go to jail. The guy I buy my dope from is from another country. I don't know this guy well. Like, I didn't go to high school with this dude. Screw him. I'm not going to jail. That makes sense to me. I'm not saying it makes you a stand-up cat. It makes you a piece of crap, but it makes sense to me. But if someone says, dude just got caught with a bunch of pictures of little kids on his computer, that's never going to make sense to me or anybody else. Nobody in there goes, yeah, I can see that. That never happens. So they're not on the same level to me. Never have been. So I don't much care. Really. I don't want you living in my room, right? Because if you told on the last guy, you'll tell on me, right? I don't want you in my room. I gotta get you out of my cell, because if I'm making wine or if I'm doing anything, you're going to tell on me the first chance you get. So, but yeah, I don't much care. I really don't. I don't much care. It's a little tougher if you're the, snitches get ditches, I believe is what they say. Ditches. But 85%. Look it up. I believe the last time we looked this up, it was 85, either 75 or 85% of people in the feds cut a deal. So all the people that get out and I don't know, allegedly close to 8 out of 10, right? BMJ Media says Trey Songz took that video. Trey Songz was, allegedly. I think the second one, I'm going to try to get a still from this other one that I saw, because it's a slightly different angle. So, but yeah, Trey Songz was supposed to be the one, as they say inside, shooting jiggers, keeping an eye out so that what was going on they could get away with, which is even more horrific that you would do this in a place that. It's just freaking disturbing. Ivy's mama, there's a video out there that shows Justin Bieber, a very, very, very young Justin Bieber, getting up off the ground, right? And it looks very much as if he had his face in the nether regions of a athlete who played for the Giants as a wide receiver named Odell Beckham Jr. Now, the video ain't fake. The question is, what was happening in the video? And the sad thing is this: Bieber's a kid, right? Bieber is a kid, and the excuse or the other line, right, is no, he wasn't doing that. He was sniffing blow. Oh, so good. Thank God. I thought you were doing something wrong with a 13 or 14-year-old. You were just doing blow. Well, I think we can all laugh about it now. He wasn't doing blow. I promise you. It's not what was happening. Now, what happened to Epstein's videos? I would say that people got rid of them. I would say that the powers that be covered up that entire case. That's what happened. That's my humble opinion. Here's what I can tell you, because I can't tell you what happened to the tapes. But what I can tell you is this. I have spent a decent amount of time in federal prison. And I have sat on the both sides of the door on the unalive, right? The unalive room. The program inside the feds is called My Brother's Keeper. You go through a training program and then they pay you $1 an hour to sit on the other side of a piece of glass and make sure that the guy in there doesn't do anything to himself, right? To leave the planet. Now, I don't know what they could do, right? Because there's nothing. They don't give you anything. You're in a room with nothing. You're wearing a dress that's so thick you can't even. Oh, it's just bad. But they said that the camera in front of the cell wasn't working, and this is why we don't know what happened to Epstein. Now, this is a hallway in a federal prison. There's a camera like this all the way down. So if the one right here that's showing his cell is out, just show me this one. I don't need to see that one. Show me the one on either side. I don't need to see who went into his cell. That's fine. Just show me who walked up. They had to get in an elevator to get there. Just show me the videotapes from the elevator for that entire day. Just show me who went to the elevator. And then we can track where they went, what doors they opened, and all that. And we'll figure out exactly who whacked them. This shouldn't take you more than an hour. For real. Put 3 or 4 agents on it. It's only one day. You can knock that out in an hour. So look at you can track from the parking lot to the dead camera. We'll figure out who did it. They don't want to know who did it. You want to put all this to bed? Run the videos. Let us see what happened on that day. Right? How about one interview with one guy who was in the shoe? You don't hear anybody talking. Right? None of the inmates? I promise you, if you were in that hall, if you were in that unit, man, I've seen footage of Demi Moore kissing passionately on a young prepubescent kid at a birthday party. She's off her rocker. She's had some real issues with drugs and alcohol. There were a lot of videos that people were getting excited about. Now, by way of full disclosure, right? By way of full disclosure, there's a lot. If I were to say today, I got a video that I'm going to be releasing, right? And I'm going to be between now and the time I release it, I'm going to tell you a lot more about who's on there, about what you're going to see in this video, and I can string that along for 3 weeks. By that 21st day, I will have had millions of views of people showing up to hear what it's going to be. And if I come out on that 22nd day and go, hey, I got hacked last night and everything is gone, maybe that happened. Either way, I got a crap load of views. And now I'm going to run 3 weeks of telling people who I think stole it. People, we live in a day and age where getting people to watch you translates to power, translates to pay. We're living in a day and age where influence and information are worth more than gold and silver, right? And I think what Diddy did, I think when it all comes out, what we're going to see is he collected information. He collected very damaging information on a lot of people, and then he screwed up. And then he screwed up that. And then there's a theory out there that Diageo took him out, right? I have a theory that Diageo kept him alive, right? I think that the lawsuit with Cassidy that got paid in 24 hours, I don't think Diddy paid it. That's my humble opinion, just an opinion. But I don't think Diddy paid that. I think Diageo paid it, right? You're protecting $1 billion brand, not $1 billion brand. I apologize. They paid Diddy $1 billion. What do you figure? 10 to 1? 20 to 1? What do you think that honestly, if they gave him $1 billion, what do you think they made? 9 more? It's a lot of money, right? If you had to pay 30 million to shut someone up, even if you knew that he may get charged a year later, how much money you know, over the course of that year? But then when the other one started to bust out, I think they probably, you know, I don't want anything to do with this cat anymore. I think that they knew that Cassie Ventura lawsuit was coming 2 years before it did. She had showed up, might have even been more than 2 years. Was it 2018? I can't remember the first time that she allegedly tried to sell him a book, but it was a long time ago. Absolutely, I do. Absolutely, I do. Who was in charge of keeping those cameras running? Those cameras never stopped running. There were hundreds of cameras hidden in all of his homes, microphones hidden in all of his homes, and they never stopped recording. They were round the clock type of stuff. And that's why the government took 90 terabytes of information off of 8 devices that they seized from one of his homes. They have 98 others to still go through. Yeah. Johnny says voice activated. That may be the case. That may be the case, but they absolutely, right? They absolutely kept running. Thank you, KP. I appreciate that. Yeah, by way of full disclosure, beating heroin is one of those few things in life where no one says to you, how many times did you fail first, right? They just congratulate you on pulling it off because it is one of those things that's hard. By way of full disclosure, it took me like, I don't know, 2.5 decades of trying to quit. So it was hard, but I'm really glad that I did. And I had a lot of help. No, here's the thing. I don't think, this is how I started this video. I don't believe for a second that fool thought they were going to kick his doors in. I think he thought he was untouchable. For that reason, because people go, oh, come on, man. He hired an attorney last December. Obviously, he would have cleaned out his houses, right? No, I don't think he did. I think he thought that the FBI and all of his, the guys that, he's been doing sexual favors for, all that power, all those powerful people, they were going to take care of him, right? 15 months sober. Shut the front door. Has it really been that long, Horton Thistle? Wow, man. Congratulations, the Lifeboat Participation Trophy to Horton Thistle. 15 months, people. You know how many times? Seriously. You know how many times he had to journal? How many times he had to go for a walk? How many times he had to call a friend? Just go outside and scream and curse or do whatever. That's a lot of close calls. That's overcoming a lot of stuff. Congratulations, Horton Thistle. Proud of you, brother. I mean it. Proud of you. Oh, man. Their data is absolutely the most valuable thing on earth right now is data. And the diddler was collecting a really unbelievable kind of data, wasn't he? And you know what? So was Epstein. And who knows? Maybe that gentleman over there at that Abercrombie and Fitch was doing the exact same thing. What do you think? That would check out, wouldn't it? It really would. Seems like the only one who wasn't making videos that we know of was Weinstein. We haven't heard anything come out about that. That's Monk. What about Monk? Good to see you, Monk. Glad that you're here, bud. And then is that Danette McClure? Good to see you. All right, people, that's a wrap for me. An hour and 45 minutes. If we go any longer than that, I'm going to turn into a pumpkin. I will see you later on today. You have my word. Between now and the next time we all get together, do me a favor and reach out and try to save somebody, all right? And remember, Diddy, you're a bad man.